In 1909, a physicist conducted an experiment that should have forever changed how we see reality. Thomas Young fired electrons through 2 slits toward a screen, expecting a predictable result. What happened was so disturbing that the scientific community spent decades trying to explain or ignore its implications. When no one was observing, electrons behaved like waves, passing through both slits simultaneously. But the exact moment someone decided to observe which slit the electron would choose, something impossible happened. The electron knew it was being observed and changed its behavior, choosing only one slit. This experiment proved something that goes against everything we've been taught about reality. Your consciousness doesn't just observe the world, it creates it. For decades, we've been conditioned to believe that the law of attraction is just positive thinking disguised as spirituality, while quantum physics is pure, objective science. That these 2 areas have absolutely nothing in common. This artificial separation isn't just false. It keeps us disconnected from our most fundamental power as conscious beings. Perhaps you've tried applying the law of attraction and felt frustrated when it seemed not to work consistently. Or maybe you're skeptical about manifestation because it seems too mystical for your rational mind. This division between science and spirituality can create a profound sense of being torn between what your intuition knows to be true and what your logical mind accepts as real. The pain of living in a world where you feel separated from what you desire, where manifestation seems to work for others but not for you, can generate a deep sense of powerlessness, as if you were condemned to be a passive spectator of your own life, waiting for external and mysterious forces to determine your destiny. Gregg Braden revolutionized our understanding of the connection between consciousness and reality when he scientifically demonstrated that we are active participants, not passive observers of the universe. Dr. Bruce Lipton discovered that our perception literally changes our biology and, consequently, our life experience. The truth that will completely transform your understanding is this: the double-slit experiment proved that your consciousness collapses realities. You don't attract what you want. You observe what already exists in the quantum field of infinite possibilities. When you understand that you are simultaneously the observer and creator of the reality you experience, manifestation stops being vague hope and becomes science applied to your life. In the double-slit experiment, something extraordinary and impossible happens when you fire electrons through 2 slits toward a screen. When no one is observing, electrons behave like waves, passing through both slits simultaneously and creating an interference pattern on the screen. But the exact moment you place a detector to observe which slit the electron passes through, it decides to behave like a particle, choosing only one slit. What this means is absolutely revolutionary. Reality exists in a state of infinite possibilities until consciousness observes it and forces a specific choice. The electron didn't know it was being observed through physical senses. It responded to the conscious intention to observe. This means your consciousness has a fundamental power over the structure of reality that goes far beyond what conventional science is willing to admit. This discovery is rarely discussed outside specialized scientific circles because its implications are profoundly disturbing to the materialist paradigm that governs our society. If consciousness can collapse waves of possibility into specific realities at the quantum level, this means you have a fundamental power over your life experience that completely challenges the view that we are passive victims of circumstances. Recognizing that you are an active creator, the double-slit experiment reveals something even deeper and more transformative. There is no real separation between the observer and the observed. You are not separate from the reality you experience. You are an integral and active part of the process of creating that reality. Your consciousness and the world you perceive are aspects of the same quantum phenomenon. This understanding completely dissolves the illusion that you are separate from what you desire to manifest. You're not desperately trying to attract something external into your life. You're consciously choosing which aspect of quantum reality to collapse into your present experience. The observer effect in quantum physics demonstrates that the act of consciously observing fundamentally changes what is being observed. This isn't poetic metaphor or abstract philosophy. It's physics applied with scientific precision. When you direct your conscious attention to something, you are literally collapsing waves of possibility into concrete and tangible experiences. Your attention isn't passive as we've been taught. It's an active, creative force that continuously shapes reality. Where you place your conscious attention, you create more of that. If you consistently focus on problems, you collapse more problematic situations. If you focus on abundance, you collapse experiences of abundance. The revolutionary power of this understanding is that you can consciously choose where to place your attention, and thus directly choose which reality to experience moment to moment. There's a fundamental paradox in quantum physics that has profound implications for your life. The act of measuring or observing something inevitably changes the outcome of the measurement. Apply to your daily experience. This means that when you obsessively focus on a problem to solve it, you're actually collapsing more problematic experiences. This scientifically explains why the more you fight against something you don't want, the more persistently it appears in your life. Your attention focused on the problem is literally creating more problematic situations through the quantum observer effect. The solution is to consciously redirect your attention to the reality you want to experience, allowing it to materialize through the quantum collapse of desired possibilities. Every moment, you're making quantum choices about which reality to experience. These choices aren't made only with the conscious mind, but with all your attention, emotion, and directed energy. When you align thought, feeling, and focus in a specific direction, you're making a clear and powerful quantum choice. The key is understanding that you always have multiple possibilities available in the quantum field. Your current situation is just one of infinite possible realities existing simultaneously. Through the conscious choice of where to place your attention and energy, you can collapse a completely different reality. The observer effect completely eliminates the possibility of genuine victimization. If your consciousness is actively collapsing the reality you experience, then you are always the creator of your experience, even when you weren't conscious of it, even when you thought you were a victim of circumstances. This understanding is simultaneously empowering and deeply responsibility-bearing. Empowering because you realize you have total control over your life experience. Responsibility-bearing because you can no longer blame external circumstances, other people, or destiny for the reality you're creating through your conscious observation. Quantum entanglement reveals a truth that completely challenges our linear perception of reality. Particles that were once connected remain instantly connected, regardless of the physical distance between them. Applied to your life, this means you're already quantumly connected with everything you desire. The sensation of separation is an illusion created by the linear mind. You don't need to attract something from outside into your life, because there is no outside at the quantum level of reality. Everything exists in the same unified field of consciousness, and you're simply choosing which aspect of this field to experience through your conscious attention. The distance between you and your desires is a mental construct, not a quantum reality. At the most fundamental level of existence, you already possess everything you seek. At the quantum level, you're entangled with all possible versions of yourself, including the version that already lives in the complete abundance you desire. This abundant version of you isn't a distant future possibility, but a present reality existing simultaneously at a different frequency. Through quantum entanglement, you can directly access the qualities, feelings, and experiences of this abundant version. When you consciously align with the frequency of this version, you automatically begin to collapse experiences that correspond to it. It's like having a direct connection to a version of you that has already solved all the problems you face and already lives the life you desire. Quantum entanglement scientifically explains apparently coincidental phenomena, like thinking intensely about someone and that person calling you shortly after. When you focus your attention on someone, you're activating the quantum connection that already exists between you, creating instant communication at the consciousness level. This communication doesn't happen through physical space or linear time, but through the quantum field of information that connects all consciousnesses. This is why manifestation can happen in ways that seem completely impossible to the logical mind. Quantum entanglement is the scientific mechanism behind the synchronicities you experience when you're aligned with your desires. Manifestation isn't about creating something new from nothing. It's about consciously tuning into the frequency of what already exists in the quantum field of possibilities. Like a radio that tunes into different stations, you can tune into different realities by changing your internal vibrational frequency. When you align your thoughts, emotions, and actions with the frequency of the reality you desire, you automatically access that reality through quantum entanglement. There's no struggle, effort, or need to convince the universe, just precise tuning. The quantum field already contains all possibilities. Your function is to choose which possibility to access through your vibrational frequency. Are you feeling this shift in perspective happening now? This understanding that perhaps you're not separated from what you desire, but quantumly connected to it. Before we continue to the next quantum code, leave in the comments one word that represents the reality you're choosing to tune into from today. Your declaration is your quantum signal of alignment. Quantum superposition proves that multiple versions of you exist simultaneously in the field of possibilities. They're not future or past versions. They're present versions existing right now at different frequencies of reality. There's a version of you that is abundant, one that is healthy, one that lives the relationship of your dreams, one that has the ideal job. These aren't fantasies or vague potentials. They're quantum realities, as valid and real as the one you're experiencing at this moment. The only difference is the vibrational frequency you're tuned into. Your current reality is just one of infinite possibilities available in your personal multiverse. Quantum physics confirms that all these versions exist simultaneously until your consciousness collapses one of them into physical experience. Every choice you make, every thought you think, every emotion you feel is a quantum jump to a specific timeline. You're not stuck in your current reality. You're constantly jumping between different versions of yourself every moment. The secret is making these jumps consciously instead of unconsciously. When you deliberately align your thoughts, emotions, and actions with the version of you that you want to experience, you quantumly jump to the timeline where that version exists. Every moment is an opportunity to choose which version of you to experience. You're not evolving linearly. You're jumping between parallel realities. Your current circumstances aren't fixed truths or immutable destiny. They're just one possibility you collapse through your conscious observation. In the quantum field, there are infinite other possibilities where you live completely different circumstances. Limitation is a quantum choice, not a permanent reality. When you deeply understand that you can collapse a different possibility through changing your conscious observation, limitations become temporary and completely optional. You're not trapped by your circumstances. You're trapped by your perception of your circumstances. Change the perception and you change the reality. The key to accessing a different reality is assuming the quantum identity of the version of you that already lives that reality. It's not about pretending or acting like someone you're not. It's about recognizing that this version already exists in the quantum field and choosing to consciously tune into it. When you operate from the identity of the abundant version of you, you automatically collapse experiences that correspond to that identity. You're not trying to become someone different. You're being who you already are at a different frequency. Quantum identity is about recognizing that you already are all possible versions of yourself and simply choosing which one to experience. Quantum physics reveals that everything in the universe is energy, vibrating at specific and measurable frequencies. The law of attraction is actually the law of quantum resonance. Similar frequencies automatically enter into resonance and amplify each other. You don't attract what you want through willpower. You resonate with what already exists at the same frequency. When you vibrate at the frequency of abundance, you naturally resonate with all abundance experiences available in the quantum field. When you vibrate at the frequency of fear, you resonate with experiences that confirm and amplify that fear. It's pure physics, not mysticism. Quantum resonance explains why people with similar frequencies attract each other, and why you experience more of what you're already vibrating. Each reality has a specific and unique vibrational frequency. Abundance vibrates at a completely different frequency from scarcity. Love vibrates at a totally different frequency from fear. Confidence vibrates at a radically different frequency from insecurity. To experience a reality, you need to consciously vibrate at its frequency. Vibrating at the frequency of abundance means feeling, thinking, and acting as if you already lived in abundance. It's not about pretending or deluding yourself. It's about consciously tuning into the frequency of the reality you want to experience, just like you tune a radio station. When you can maintain this frequency consistently, you automatically collapse experiences that correspond to it. The most powerful manifestation happens when you create a coherent signal, when your thoughts, emotions, and actions are perfectly aligned at the same frequency. This creates a quantum resonance so strong and clear that the corresponding reality materializes with impressive speed. When there's incoherence, when you think one thing, feel another, and act completely differently, you create interference in the quantum signal, preventing clear manifestation. It's like trying to tune into 3 radio stations at the same time. You only get static. Coherence between thought, emotion, and action creates a clean quantum signal that the field of possibilities can interpret and respond to with precision. Quantum interference happens when you transmit contradictory signals, consciously wanting abundance but unconsciously feeling scarcity, desiring love but vibrating fear, seeking success but operating from the identity of failure. This interference prevents you from clearly tuning into the frequency of what you desire. Eliminating interference means consciously aligning all aspects of your being at the same frequency. When you achieve perfect tuning, when thoughts, emotions, actions, and identity vibrate harmoniously, manifestation becomes automatic because you're clearly resonating with the desired reality. Perfect tuning is the state where there's no internal conflict, only total alignment with the frequency of the reality you've chosen to experience. Quantum physics is the bridge that finally unites science and spirituality, revealing that they were always aspects of the same fundamental truth. Consciousness isn't something separate from physical reality. It's the mechanism through which physical reality manifests. The observer and the observed are one phenomenon experiencing itself through apparently different perspectives. You no longer need to choose between being scientific or spiritual. Conscious creation of reality is simultaneously a precise scientific phenomenon and a profound spiritual experience. It's physics applied with reverence. It's spirituality grounded in evidence. As a quantum creator, you operate through precise scientific laws while experiencing the sacred mystery of creative consciousness. You are the scientist observing the experiment of your own life, and the mystic experiencing the magic of simultaneous, conscious creation. This integration allows you to manifest with the precision of science and the fluidity of spirituality, creating a powerful and balanced approach to conscious reality creation. You don't need to abandon logic to embrace mystery. You can honor both. We're entering a new era where manifestation becomes an applied science with expanded consciousness. Understanding the quantum principles of the observer effect, entanglement, superposition, and resonance, you can create your reality with scientific precision and spiritual consistency. You become a scientific manifester, using proven quantum laws to consciously collapse the realities you desire to experience. It's no longer about hope or blind faith. It's about understanding and conscious application of universal principles. Something truly strange and wonderful happens when quantum physics meets the law of attraction. You discover you are always a quantum creator operating through precise scientific laws. There's no more separation between science and spirituality, between you and what you desire, between observer and observed reality. Starting today, you can consciously apply quantum principles to create your reality with scientific precision and spiritual fluidity. You are simultaneously the scientist and mystic of your own experience, consciously collapsing the possibilities you choose to live. If this content resonated with something deep within you, subscribe to the channel to continue receiving the codes that unite science and consciousness in reality creation. Share this video with someone who needs to discover their power as a quantum creator. And leave in the comments, which reality are you choosing to consciously collapse from now on? Remember, you don't attract your reality. You observe it in the quantum field of infinite possibilities.